Okay, chapter 28, there's some leftovers from this morning. It says,
I do like leftovers.
They're the best.
Everybody likes leftovers.
From Daughter of Zion, says, Rabbi, can you explain Deuteronomy 28, the curses? I have heard that this can only fit the African Americans because of the slaves and the ships.
All right. This gets back to those just fun-loving people called the Black Hebrew Israelites. Okay? We got to just knock off this whole, we got racism, we got what we call reverse racism, and everybody else is going to, this is not ever about the color of your skin, nor is it about one particular race. They were a mixed multitude coming out of Egypt and starting before Deuteronomy 28. The people being talked about in Deuteronomy 28 were a mixed multitude, okay? And those that assimilated then in and became officially all of them Israel. Now, as far as trying to figure out who's who and what's what, oh man, so many people have tried to do that over the years. It's like the people trying to figure out the calendar. Well, I got to try to figure out the one people that I think matches this thing throughout history. Really? So, does it match all black people in all places they ever lived and all those things? Of course not. It doesn't match any one people that you can point to and say just them all things, because they were scattered. And once they were scattered, these things happened to them wherever they were, intermixed with whoever they intermixed with. And so what we have to be careful of is what's motivating this is a racism. Okay, and by the way, blacks can be racist just as much as whites, or yellows, or greens, or anybody else. Anybody that's making color the primary concern is being racist. All right? Anybody. Whatever the color is, if you're seeing color, that's the problem. And so there are white supremacists that want to make it about that it's only talking about white people, it's a white people thing, and they can read the scriptures and try and interpret it as all white. And then you got the Black Hebrew Israelites who want to make it all about black. And they will say that only black people are the 12 tribes and tell you what nations they're from and all this other nonsense. We got to get past that. Okay, we have got to get past seeing color. All right? This is just never going to make it. Oh, it's easy for you to say, Rabbi, you're white, blah, blah, blah. You know what? We just got to stop that. It's not my fault. I didn't choose my color. And you didn't choose yours. And if you've watched me long enough, I don't treat you any different if you're short or tall, fat or skinny, black or white, yellow or green, old or young or anything. Because that's correct. But you need to know that there's ugliness that's, we'll call the ugliness colorblind. All colors seem to find a way to get ugly. All right? There's no respecter of colors in ugliness. If you're black, you can be real ugly. If you're white, you can be real ugly. If you're yellow, you can be real ugly. Okay, go to some of the Asian nations and see some ugliness going on between yellow and yellow. Okay? Go to some places and see brown on brown, white on white, whatever on whatever. It's killing humanity. And this is Hasatan's favorite tool, to race bait. You see it in this country right now. I don't know how I can come across or come against it more strongly. Don't buy into it. When you start to group all, and then you put a color, and then something negative, or all and a color, and then something positive, you've messed up. Stop trying to block everything together and group everything together of one race. We do this even like, forget about races, we do this even like with positions. All police are blah, 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 blah. No, they're not. There are some good ones and some bad ones. All black people, there are some good ones and some bad ones. All white people, there are some good ones and some bad ones. All anything you can name, there are some good ones and some bad ones. Can we not agree? So we gotta show the world that we can be above all that nonsense. Okay? And in the religious wise, well, all Christians or all Jews or all Messianics or all, there is no cohesively homogeneous group that's all one way. We're all mixed. There's all a mix, whether it's skin color, whether it's status of wealth, whether it's in, understanding and knowledge, whether it's whatever. Everything's mixed. Skin color, education level, it doesn't matter. We're all a mixed group. And I don't think we should ever use those ridiculous measuring sticks for anything. Amen? All right, enough of that. It's really sad because occasionally I get a thought and I get all upset myself because I have the thought. I get a frustrated thought when I look out and see that there's way more of one color or another in a particular church group or in our group, whatever, because I know others will judge it. Not because I'm judging it. It's like I'm really glad that Abba's blessing us with much more of a mix so that the world can see a mix and not just see white and think this is somehow a white thing. It's a Torah thing. It's an Israel thing. Okay? That's why I love it when we go to wave goodbye and everybody can see, oh, wow, look, there's a lot of people of everything in there. It shouldn't have to be. It shouldn't matter. If we happen to be in a country that was mostly whatever color, then you'd expect most of the people to be that color. All right? And if you're in a different country that's mostly a different color, you'd expect most of the people to match the population. But why we care, I just don't understand. I never did. I was very blessed. I was raised in I was blessed and cursed. I was raised in a very liberal home, which politically, not so great. Very frustrating and all that. But my family, we lived on a very United Nations type block. I mean, every different nation and color and everything was on our block that I lived on. And I just never was taught to see any of that, except people with different, really cool and interesting cultural stuff, especially when we had our block parties and we got to bring food out and got to try all the cool food. Because they bring stuff from wherever because my one neighbor on one side was Korean, my next door neighbor on the other side was Haitian, I got another neighbor across the street was Italian, and another across the street was Indian. From India, Indian, right? And we had and everything you can imagine from all over the place. And so I was very blessed. I was never taught to see that, which I guess helps make me qualified for this in some level, okay? Because I think that this would be awful if the person standing up here saw color, okay? And I don't, I promise you. I don't see gender, I don't see age, I don't see physical health condition, I don't see anything but people. And that's enough of a problem. Because whatever those other things are, I notice that people are still people. All right? Whether they are any of those other things, somehow there's good ones and there's bad ones. There's sane ones and there's crazy ones. And there's everything in between.